Dear spectators of the human tragedy, in the shadows where the forgotten linger, I found my voice, a whisper turned roar, echoing through the hollow chambers of despair. I was born a victim, a mere pawn in a game played by those who believe themselves untouchable, invincible. They reveled in their power, their laughter a cruel symphony that drowned out my cries. But what is power when it feeds on the weak? What is control when it crumbles under the weight of its own arrogance? Each scar etched upon my skin is a chapter of my story, a testament to the betrayal woven into the fabric of my existence. The oppressors, with their gilded masks and polished shoes, could never understand the darkness that brewed within me. They thought they could break me, shatter my spirit like glass, but they were wrong. They planted seeds of suffering, and from that torment, a fierce resilience took root. I transformed pain into purpose, each wound the reminder that I could rise from the ashes they sought to create. The hubris of those who wield power is a fragile illusion, a mirage in the desert of their own making. They believe themselves to be gods, but in their quest for dominance, they reveal their own vulnerabilities. The very chains they forged to bind me have become the noose around their necks. They play a dangerous game, one where the rules shift like shadows in the night, and I am no longer the pawn, I am the storm that comes to shatter their delusions. Cruelty has a way of weaving itself into the fabric of reality, and as the oppressors dance on the stage of their own making, they fail to see the cracks that mar their facade. Their laughter grows hollow, their smiles a mask for the fear that gnaws at their insides. They've reached for the stars, but their hands are stained with the blood of the innocent. Every act of malice is a thread pulled from the tapestry of their lives, unraveling the very essence of who they are. As I stand amidst the ruins of their arrogance, I can almost taste the irony. The oppressors, once so confident, now tremble at the thought of retribution. The tables are turning, and with each calculated move, I reclaim my agency. This is not merely vengeance, it is justice, a reckoning for the torment they have inflicted. Their downfall is not my doing, it is the consequence of their own cruelty, a poetic dance orchestrated by the hands of time. In the depths of this darkness, I have found strength. Each whisper of doubt that once threatened to drown me has become a battle cry, a call to arms against those who sought to diminish my light. I embrace the shadows, for they are not my enemy, they are my allies, the silent witnesses to my metamorphosis. Here, in this abyss, I forge my identity, a tapestry of resilience woven from the threads of my suffering. The journey from victim to victor is fought with challenges, yet it is the very essence of existence. The oppressors thought they could extinguish my fire, but in their attempts, they fanned the flames, igniting a blaze that will consume them whole. The darkness I once feared has become my sanctuary, a crucible where I transform pain into power, where I am reborn anew. So let them come. Let the oppressors feel the weight of their actions, the crushing reality that their hubris has sown the seeds of their own demise. I will stand tall, a specter of vengeance, reminder that the shadows hold not just sorrow, but strength. In the end, it is not the oppressors who will write the final chapter, it is I, the one they sought to break, who will rise from the ashes, unyielding and fierce, a force of nature that demands to be reckoned with. In the depths of betrayal, where trust turns to ash and hope flickers like a dying ember, I found my reflection. Each moment of treachery carved a deeper void within me, a chasm filled with the echoes of laughter that once rang true. The faces of those who betrayed me now haunt my thoughts, their smiles twisted into masks of deceit. They believed they could strip away my dignity, shatter my spirit, but they underestimated the darkness that lay beneath. From that darkness, I draw strength, a wellspring of power forged in the fires of their betrayal. Betrayal is a cruel architect, building walls of isolation around a heart once open and trusting. I remember each dagger thrust, each whispered lie, like a gallery of ghosts, lingering in the periphery of my mind. The pain was a shroud, wrapping itself around me, suffocating yet invigorating. It taught me that silence can be a weapon, that solitude can be a sanctuary. In that desolation, I transformed my anguish into a relentless drive. I became the architect of my own resurgence, each betrayal an intricate stitch in the fabric of my resolve. The faces that haunt me are not merely adversaries, they are reminders of the fragility of trust. They wore the masks of friends, yet behind those smiles lay the venom of betrayal. Each one thought they could walk away unscathed, but they failed to realize that their actions set into motion a chain reaction that would consume them. The irony is delicious, a feast of poetic justice served on the platter of their own making. They thought I was broken, but in truth, I was merely a dormant volcano, waiting for the right moment to erupt. The pivotal moment came when I looked into the abyss of my suffering and saw not despair, but clarity. It was a revelation that ignited a fire within me. I embraced my pain, wrapped it around me like a cloak, and decided to wield it as a weapon. No longer would I be the victim, I would become the storm that dismantles their fortress of lies. The darkness that once threatened to consume me became my ally, a force of nature that would sweep away the remnants of their deceit. With each calculated step, I began to reclaim my power. The whispers of the past transformed into battle cries. The betrayals I endured became the fuel for my vengeance. I learned to navigate the shadows, to dance with the specters of my past. Every scar is now a badge of honor, a testament to my resilience. I am no longer the hunted, I am the hunter, and my oppressors are but prey in a game they thought they controlled. The cycle of betrayal and power is a treacherous dance, one that spins faster with each misstep. They believed they could manipulate me, but in their arrogance, they failed to see that I was the one holding the strings. The illusion of control they wielded is nothing more than a fragile facade, ready to crumble at the slightest touch of truth. As their hubris grows, so does their vulnerability. They are blind to the storm brewing on the horizon, the reckoning that awaits them. In this game, the stakes are high, but I am no longer afraid. I have embraced the darkness that once terrified me, and in doing so, I have found my strength. The faces of betrayal may haunt me, but they also fuel my resolve. I rise from the ashes of their deceit, a phoenix reborn, ready to unleash the fury of the wronged. The time for reckoning is upon us, and I will not rest until every betrayal is avenged, every wound is addressed. The clock is ticking, and with each passing moment, their fate draws closer. They wanted me broken, but now they will witness the true power of a soul forged in darkness. As I prepare to confront the architects of my suffering, I feel the weight of their impending doom hanging in the air. The shadows will guide my path, and the echoes of my past will be my battle hymn. Let the reckoning begin. In the cold embrace of night, where shadows stretch like fingers reaching for the lost, I ponder the delicate thread that binds power to its wielder. Power is a fickle mistress, seducing the weak with promises of control, only to reveal her true nature, a ravenous beast that devours its own. The oppressors, perched atop their thrones of arrogance, believe themselves invulnerable, yet they dance on the edge of a blade, oblivious to the abyss that yawns beneath them. Their laughter echoes, a hollow sound that masks their impending doom, as they clench their fists around the illusion of supremacy. Throughout history, power has always been a cruel puppeteer, pulling strings with a deft hand, playing both sides of the coin. The oppressors, intoxicated by their own might, failed to grasp the cyclical nature of their tyranny. They build empires on the backs of the broken, convinced that their reign will last forever. Yet, in their delusion, they forget that every act of cruelty plants seeds of consequence, seeds that sprout in the fertile soil of resentment and vengeance. The very foundations of their power are composed of the shattered dreams of those they sought to subjugate. As I navigate through the ruins of their arrogance, I see the cracks forming, like spider webs weaving their way across an imposing edifice. They toy with the lives of others, believing themselves untouchable, but their miscalculations ring like a death knell. The oppressed, That silent storm brewing in the shadows have begun to awaken. They see the strings that bind them, and with each passing moment, the ties of servitude fray. Their suffering has birthed a silent revolution, a tide that will wash away the opulence of those who once loomed large. In the depths of their hubris, they remain blind to the reckoning that approaches. They thought they could manipulate me, a mere pawn in their grand game, but I have redefined the rules. I am not the fragile vessel they believe me to be. I am the hurricane that will tear through their facade and expose the decay beneath. Each calculated move I make is a step closer to reclaiming my agency, a reminder that the oppressed hold a power of their own, a power forged in darkness, nurtured by suffering. The thrill of this impending reckoning electrifies the air. I am no longer the ghost that haunted their memories. I am the specter of their downfall, cloaked in shadows and driven by a singular purpose. While they bask in their delusions, I harness the whispers of the past, transforming them into a symphony of retribution. The flames of their arrogance will be extinguished by the weight of their own actions, and I shall be the instrument of their poetic justice. As the cycle of power spins, I stand resolute, prepared to dismantle the very structures that have held me captive. The oppressors, in their foolishness, believed they could escape the repercussions of their cruelty. But time is a patient hunter, and it always catches up. The walls they built to shield themselves are nothing but a mirage, crumbling under the weight of their sins. In their struggle for dominance, they have become their own worst enemies, ensnared by the very chains they forged to bind me. In this dark ballet of power, I embrace the shadows that have shaped me. I find strength in the scars of my past, turning pain into purpose. Each step I take brings me closer to the climax of this twisted narrative, where the oppressors will feel the chill of their own making. The darkness is no longer a shackle, it is my armor, my ally, and it will guide me as I carve a path through the rubble of their arrogance. Let them revel in their false sense of security, for the storm is upon them. They wanted me broken, but they will soon learn that in their quest for control, they have sown the seeds of their own demise. The cycle of power is relentless, and as it circles back, I will stand at the epicenter, ready to unleash the chaos they so carelessly ignored. The time for retribution is now, and I will not falter. Let the shadows rise, and let the reckoning begin. In the theater of broken dreams, where the echoes of despair linger like a haunting melody, I stand amidst the ruins of those who wielded power like a weapon. Their laughter, once a symphony of dominance, now morphs into a dirge, a reminder of the hubris that led them to this precipice. Each cruel act they committed, each life they shattered, has birthed something far more potent than they could ever foresee. The seeds of consequence, sown in the fertile ground of their arrogance, are now sprouting into a dark harvest. They thought they could escape the shadows they cast, but the universe has a way of balancing the scales. The law of karma, an unyielding force, marches forward, indifferent to the cries of the oppressors. Every wound inflicted on the innocent transforms into a blade that cuts back, a boomerang of suffering that returns with a vengeance. The oppressors stand on the edge of their own oblivion, oblivious to the storm brewing in the hearts of those they sought to subjugate. I watch as their empire, built on the backs of the broken, begins to crumble. The walls they erected to shield themselves from the truth are now mere illusions, flickering like shadows in the dying light. Their cruelty has become the very noose that tightens around their necks, and they are too blinded by their arrogance to realize it. As they bask in their false sense of security, the seeds they planted begin to blossom, intertwining with the roots of their existence. Every act of betrayal they orchestrated lays bare their fragility. The faces of those who once bowed before them now reflect a different story, a tale of defiance, of resilience forged in the crucible of pain. Each cry for justice, once muffled by the weight of oppression, now rises like a phoenix, an uprising fueled by the very suffering they inflicted. The oppressors will soon find themselves ensnared in the web of their own making, caught in the throes of a fate they so arrogantly dismissed. In this dark garden of retribution, the anti-hero is no longer a passive observer. I have become the gardener, nurturing the seeds of consequence with the waters of my anguish. Each droplet carries the memories of betrayal, the echoes of suffering that have shaped my resolve. I wield these memories like a weapon, ready to unleash the chaos that lies dormant, waiting for the moment to break free. The oppressors will soon learn that their past deeds are not forgotten. They are merely lying in wait, biding their time until the reckoning arrives. As the darkness blooms, I find power in the shadows. They sought to erase me, to reduce me to nothing, but in their attempts to break my spirit, they have only strengthened my resolve. The transformation of pain into purpose is a delicate dance, one that I now lead with confidence. I am not a victim, I am the storm that will tear through their illusions, exposing the rot beneath the veneer of their control. The irony is delicious. Those who once reveled in their superiority now tremble at the thought of their own vulnerability. The consequences of their actions are a mirror reflecting their true selves. They will witness, firsthand, the blossoming of torment they so carelessly sowed. Their laughter will fade, replaced by the chilling realization that they have become the architects of their own demise. In this twisted narrative, justice is not a distant dream, it is the inevitable outcome of their cruelty. With each passing moment, I feel the weight of their sins pressing down, a palpable tension that thickens the air. The time for reckoning approaches, and I will not shy away from it. I stand ready, a harbinger of poetic justice, prepared to dismantle the very foundations of their power. The darkness I embrace is not merely a refuge, it is the source of my strength, a reminder that the seeds of consequence have taken root and are ready to bear fruit. The cycle of pain and power is relentless, and as it spins faster, I will emerge as the force that tips the balance. The oppressors thrived in their delusions, but now they will face the fruits of their labor, bitter and unforgiving. As the shadows rise, I will be the reckoning they can no longer evade. Their time is up, and the harvest of their cruelty is at hand. Let the consequences unfurl like a dark flower, for the reckoning is here, and I will stand at the center, ready to reap what they have sown. In the abyss where shadows converge, I have found an unsettling truth. Strength is not born from light, but from the depths of darkness. Here, in the void where hope dares not tread, I have embraced the very essence of my pain. It is a relentless companion, a specter that whispers secrets of resilience in every moment of despair. The oppressors thought they could extinguish my spirit, but they failed to see that darkness is not a shackle, it is a forge where true strength is tempered. The scars they left behind are not mere symbols of my suffering, they are the ink from which I write my own destiny. Each bruise and wound tells a story of defiance, a testament to the battles I have fought in silence. They believed they could reduce me to ashes, yet here I stand, rising from the embers with a fierce clarity. Pain is no longer my prison, it is the crucible that has shaped me into something formidable. In the shadows, I have learned the art of survival, how to wield my anguish as a weapon sharper than any blade they could wield against me. The darkness, once a place of torment, has transformed into my sanctuary. I navigate its depths with ease, my allies being the very shadows they sought to banish. Here, I find the power to confront my demons, to turn the instruments of my pain into tools of liberation. Each whisper of the night carries the echoes of those who underestimated me, who believed that their cruelty could snuff out my flame. They were wrong. The darker it became, the more I thrived, like a flower blooming in a barren wasteland. Yet, as I embrace this darkness, I do not forget the faces of betrayal that haunt me. The ones who smiled as they plunged the knife into my back, thinking they could extinguish my will. Their treachery was a catalyst, igniting a fire within me that they cannot comprehend. I have become the embodiment of their worst fears, a shadow that looms large over their fragile empire. I am the reckoning they never anticipated, the embodiment of the chaos they sowed. The transformation of pain into power is a metamorphosis that few understand. It is not merely an act of vengeance, it is a reclamation of identity. I have wrestled with my demons, learned to dance with them in the dark, and now they are no longer my tormentors, but my allies. I will turn their weapons against them, using their own cruelty as the very fuel for my revolution. With each calculated strike, I dismantle their illusions, exposing the vulnerability that lies beneath their facade of control. The irony is exquisite. They thought they could wield power over me, but in their attempts to break me, they have forged a weapon far more potent. I am not merely a product of their cruelty, I am the storm that will dismantle their tyranny. The darkness I have embraced is not a weakness, it is the crucible of my strength, a reminder that true power lies in resilience, in the ability to rise from the ashes and forge a new path. As the shadows deepen, I prepare to unleash the storm within. The oppressors may revel in their delusions, but they will soon learn that the darkness is alive, and it knows their names. Their laughter will be silenced by the chilling realization that they have birthed their own demise. The seeds of consequence have taken root, and they will witness the blossoming of the very torment they thought they could escape. In this reckoning, I will not shy away. I will stand firm, a harbinger of the justice they so fiercely denied others. The darkness I have embraced is not just a refuge, it is a promise that the scales will balance. The cycle of power is relentless, and I am the force that will tip it in favor of the oppressed. The time has come for their empire of cruelty to crumble beneath the weight of their own making. The shadows will rise, and in their wake, I will emerge, a testament to the strength found in embracing the darkness. In the darkened corners of my existence, where shadows weave tales of betrayal and despair, I stand on the precipice of confrontation. The air is thick with the weight of unspoken truths, each breath a reminder of the battles fought in silence. Here, in this desolate landscape of broken promises, I prepare to face the architects of my suffering, the oppressors who believed they could shatter me into a million pieces. They thought they were gods, invincible in their fortress of arrogance, but now, the very foundations of their power tremble beneath the specter of their own making. As I approach their citadel, a twisted smile curls upon my lips. The silence is deafening, filled with the echoes of their laughter that once rang with certainty. They reveled in their illusions, blind to the cracks forming in their facade. Power is a fickle mistress, one that turns her back on those who wield her carelessly. They thought themselves untouchable, but in their quest for dominance, they sowed the seeds of their downfall. I am the harvest of their hubris, the reckoning they never anticipated. The moment of confrontation arrives, and I stand before them, a reflection of their darkest fears. Their faces pale as they recognize the truth that has come to claim them. I am no longer the broken figure they once knew. I am the embodiment of their past misdeeds, a living testament to the suffering they so eagerly inflicted. The psychological warfare begins, each word a dagger, each glance a reminder of their fragility. I peel back the layers of their bravado, exposing the vulnerability that lies beneath. Do you remember the taste of your cruelty? I ask, my voice a low growl. Do you recall the moments when you thought you could erase me? You played with fire, and now the flames dance at your feet. Their confidence falters, and I relish the sight of their unease. They believed they held the strings of fate, but now the puppets have become the puppeteers, and I, their greatest nightmare, have returned to collect the debt they owe. With each revelation, I watch as their facade crumbles, piece by piece. The proud towers of their empire, built on the backs of the oppressed, begin to tremble under the weight of their own sins. The silence becomes a cacophony of regret, a haunting melody that echoes through the hallways of their arrogance. They are not the titans they once imagined, they are frail, mere mortals beset by the consequences of their actions. The irony is not lost on me. In their quest to mold me into a victim, they have unwittingly forged a weapon far more potent than they could ever wield. I am the storm that will dismantle their tyranny, the embodiment of the chaos they thought they could contain. They sought to break my spirit, yet in their cruelty, they have birthed a force that will shatter their delusions of power. As I confront them, I cannot help but reflect on the nature of strength and power. It is a fragile dichotomy, a delicate balance between oppressor and oppressed. In their arrogance, they failed to recognize that true strength lies not in inflicting pain, but in enduring it. Their laughter now feels hollow, a desperate attempt to mask the terror that lurks just beneath the surface. They are like glass houses, fragile and transparent, and I am the storm that will shatter their illusions. With each calculated move, I dismantle their defenses, exposing the raw, beating heart of their tyranny. The shadows that once haunted me now serve as my allies, guiding my hand as I wield their own cruelty against them. In this moment of reckoning, I am both judge and executioner, a harbinger of the justice they so fiercely denied others. And as they stand before me, stripped of their power and pride, I leave them with a haunting realization. The darkness they sought to extinguish has not only survived but flourished. I am the embodiment of their worst fears, the relentless tide of consequence that will wash away their empire of cruelty. The scales of justice are tilting, and they will soon learn that the true power lies not in domination, but in resilience, the strength to rise from the ashes of suffering and embrace the darkness that surrounds us all. In the shadows that stretch across the battlefield of existence, power flickers like a dying ember, illuminating the twisted paths we tread. Here, beneath the weight of our choices, lies a haunting truth. Strength and weakness are not enemies but dance partners in an eternal waltz. The oppressors, with their lofty ideals and iron fists, believed they could carve their names into history, etching their dominion into the fabric of time. Yet, like sand slipping through their fingers, their power is but an illusion, a mirage in the desert of their arrogance. Look closely, and one might see the fragile threads that bind us all. The oppressors, once towering giants, now crumble under the weight of their own delusions. They thought they could sow fear and reap loyalty, but what they cultivated was a garden of resentment, blossoming with the venom of their betrayal. In their insatiable hunger for control, they overlooked the very essence of humanity, the strength born from vulnerability, the resilience forged in the fires of suffering. It is a lesson long forgotten, buried beneath layers of pride and denial. The legacy of suffering lingers like a ghost, haunting both the oppressed and the oppressors. Each act of cruelty, a stone cast into the still waters of time, sends ripples that resonate far beyond the moment of impact. The shackles they placed upon others have now turned back upon themselves, tightening with every passing day. They are trapped in a cycle of violence, ensnared by the very chains they once wielded as weapons. It is a tragic irony. Their desire to dominate has become the very prison that confines them. Reflect on this. What becomes of those who thrive on the suffering of others? They may wear crowns forged from the bones of their victims, but beneath the surface lies a festering wound, one that deepens with each act of malice. The weight of their actions becomes unbearable, a burden that crushes the spirit and distorts the mind. As they gaze into the abyss, they realize the abyss gazes back, revealing the fragility of their power, the hollowness of their victories. In this moment of reckoning, I pose a question that cuts deeper than any blade. What is the price of power? Is it worth the bloodshed, the tears, the shattered lives left in its wake? The answer hangs heavy in the air, a palpable tension that reflects the choices we make. For every tyrant who rises, there lies a victim who endures, and within that endurance lies an unquenchable fire, the spark of rebellion that cannot be extinguished. Embrace the shadows that dwell within. They are not the enemy but allies waiting to be acknowledged. It is in darkness that true strength is forged, where the broken find their voice and the silenced reclaim their narrative. The oppressors have shown me the depths of their cruelty, but they have also illuminated the power that lies dormant within me. I am no longer a mere reflection of their wickedness. I am the storm that will wash away their sins, the embodiment of justice waiting to be served. And as I stand amidst the ruins of their empire, I challenge them to reconsider their perception of strength. True power does not reside in the hands that crush, but in the hearts that endure. It is in the ashes of suffering that resilience blooms, a testament to the unyielding spirit of those who refuse to be silenced. The cycle of oppression may be relentless, but within its grasp, there lies a choice to rise, to fight, to reclaim what is rightfully ours. So I leave them with this haunting provocation. As we navigate the labyrinth of power and suffering, where do we stand? Are we the architects of our own demise, or the harbingers of change? The answer lies within, waiting to be unearthed from the depths of our souls. In the end, the question remains, who truly holds the power? For in our darkest moments, we may find that the true strength is not in domination, but in the courage to confront our demons and rise from the shadows, unbroken and unyielding. Share this message if you believe that true strength rises from the ashes of despair, and that justice is a relentless force waiting to be unleashed. Leave a comment about a time when adversity sparked your inner rebellion and transformed your path. Subscribe for more darkly motivating insights that challenge the status quo and ignite the fire within. Remember, in the shadows, we find our greatest power, the kind that shakes the very foundations of complacency. Are you ready to confront your demons and embrace the chaos?